Right now on Up with KREM, Governor Jay Inslee announced several prizes and cash giveaways to spur vaccine rates in Washington. We'll tell you about a chance for a shot of a lifetime.
And of course, we're going to take you outside. Wind picking up across the inland northwest. We'll let you know what that means for our increased fire danger today.
A UW professor will be featured on Oprah's new series featuring Prince Harry.
I said yes. This looks like it could be really important and impactful.
Coming up, we hear what she has to say about her knowledge on mental health.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, good morning and thank you so much for joining us on your Friday. I'm Dana Marie McNichol. This morning, we've been talking with Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward about the city's latest shelter plans, and she's joining us live now. Mayor Woodward, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to jump right into this interview. Earlier, we were talking about the Cannon Street shelter. The city is looking for a new year-round provider. Can you please explain to us why the city is looking for another operator instead of using the Guardians who have previously assisted with this?
Well, the Guardian's contract is still in effect, and in fact, we've expanded it for 90 more days. It expires at the end of June, but we want to extend that contract so that we can keep the facility operating as a day shelter during the summertime. So this is an opportunity for providing a facility for homeless to stop by and get a shower, get a free meal, charge their electronics, even do their laundry and get connected to services. We have not operated the Cannon year-round before. It's just been the last couple of years a warming center in the winter months. But it's been really challenging to find providers who only want to provide a service for a part of the year. Typically, they want to be able to provide a program for the entire year. So that's what we're pivoting to. But we have to do that in a competitive process way. So that's why we're opening up the process. Anybody can apply. That RFP goes out today, and so we'll be accepting applications for the next 30 days from providers who would want to operate that facility year-round.
Well, the city is in the process of converting the Way Out temporary drop-in shelter into a bridge housing program. Can you tell us what services will be offered through that program?
Yeah, that's really exciting. The Way Out Shelter on Mission in North Spokane was purchased last year during COVID with CARES Act money, and the operator is the Spokane Salvation Army. They've done a really, really good job, but it's been operating under COVID as that drop-in emergency night-by-night shelter. It closes at the end of this month, June 30th, for some renovations, and when it reopens this fall, it will be that bridge housing model that you just talked about. And that's a place where people can get stabilized. So these are people who have been identified as wanting to take the next step to get out of homelessness. They've been referred to the Way Out shelter by other providers or street outreach counselors. And then they'll be able to stay there 30, 60, 90 days with wraparound services like mental health services, addiction services, employment help, and all those kinds of resources that get them to the next step to move out of a shelter and into permanent housing. So really excited about that program to really assist in exiting people out of homelessness.
Sounds like such a great resource for our area. Now, while we do have you this morning, what do you think about Governor Inslee's latest COVID vaccine incentive, the $1 million lottery prize?
I mean, a lot of other states have done it. If it means that somebody will get a vaccine, I think that the governor has upped the ante so that we can open up the state maybe even sooner than that June 30th target if we get 70% of our state vaccinated, at least that first dose of being vaccinated. So, you know, we've had several incentivized pop-up clinics throughout the city. The city's been working with a lot of partners that do the same type of thing. I mean, obviously, we don't have $1 million to give away, but we've had some really fun events where we've given out free concert tickets for upcoming concerts, you know, free pizza. I know some restaurants are looking at discounts, and the state has even allowed, you know, breweries and bars to offer a free drink if somebody gets a vaccine. So, you know, and these are people who aren't necessarily going to make up their mind based on that. These are people who probably just haven't prioritized or haven't had the time to get their vaccination yet. And if this, you know, pushes them to go ahead and do that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a great way to kick off our Friday. There are great incentives here locally and throughout the state. Mayor Woodward, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You can also find that full interview with Mayor Woodward on KREM.com. All right, 7:05 now. It is going to be a beautiful weekend, a little bit cooler. We're going to head over to Jeremy to see what's going on.
Yeah, Dana Marie, I hope you got all your lake time in for the weekend, because this weekend might be a bit chillier, but hey, maybe that'll keep some people off the cold water, or maybe it just makes the cold water not feel so cold. Right now, we are looking at those temperatures on the rise. How about this? 63 degrees here in Spokane this morning, and we do have that wind pretty sustained out of the south and southwest this morning, around 13 to 15 miles per hour, but those gusts up over 20 and will stay that way. Already up to 65 in Coeur d'Alene, 68 in Sandpoint and Moses Lake, 67 there in Wenatchee. When it comes to that wind, expect wind gusts to be around 20 to 25 miles per hour today. It is going to be a gusty one here across the inland northwest. Just know that that wind does contribute to our fire danger. We have red flank warnings in place from the eastern valleys of the Cascades through central Washington. That's the Columbia Basin, where we are going to see all of this wind and increased fire danger. We have an ongoing drought, dry conditions, and wind, and that doesn't work well together. When it comes to our temps, though, just about everybody is in the mid-80s today, from eastern Washington right on through the central portion of the state.
Well, there is a red flag warning in east valleys of the Cascades and the Columbia Basin. That being it's today at 11. So this means critical fire conditions will happen within the next 24 hours. The National Weather Service of Spokane tweeted out this warning with ways you can help prevent wildfires. First, don't park in dry grass. Your hot car could create spark if it comes in contact with that dry grass. Avoid any activities that create sparks like fireworks. Safely dispose of cigarettes. Tie up loose chains and properly extinguish campfires. And speaking of campfires, be sure to follow those local burn bans. That's very important. Well, this morning there are still 2.3 million eligible but unvaccinated people in Washington state. Now, Governor Jay Inslee announced a big incentive for vaccinated Washingtons to try and lower that number.
We're making this investment today because we know every life in the state of Washington has value. So I'm excited to announce these strong incentives that will bring the potential to save thousands of lives on top of everybody else's agenda in their individual lives.
Well, the prizes will be awarded lottery style to all state residents who get a shot. Here's a list of the prizes. There's a lot of them. So first of all, a traditional cash lottery prize. This will consist of a $250,000 prize once a week in June, and then the big $1 million prize will be announced mid-July. The state will offer also some money for college tuition and books. There will be 30 prizes worth 1 year of tuition that will go straight to families of winning Washington teenagers who are fully vaccinated. And lastly, some big Washington companies are offering a handful of prizes as well. It includes gift cards to local businesses, free airfare on Alaska Airlines, and Discovery passes. There's also a handful of tickets to every major West Side team, including the Seahawks and the Mariners. For a full list of all the prizes and to see if you qualify, text the word lottery 509-448-2000. Washington will fully reopen on June 30th, but at least 70% of the population is vaccinated. If that happens, it could open up before then. Right now, we're at 63%, so not too far away. Now, in our next half hour on Up with KREM, I'll walk you through how to check if you are eligible and how to get some of these giveaways. Well, in a couple of weeks ago, we reported that 5 people in Kootenai County died in a suspected fentanyl overdose. Well, there have been 2 more overdoses since then.
School, you have soccer moms, you have medical professionals, people that get hooked on it because they had a medical need for it, they were prescribed it, and it kind of spiraled out of control.
Well, Brandell says the scariest part about illicit fentanyl is that there are no quality control about it. That means within the same batch of pills, one could have the amount of a really deadly dose and the other could have nothing at all. Well, the Spokane Police Department has launched a new program to investigate older sexual assault cases. They're taking a look at extensive backlog of rape kits that have gone unprocessed until now. Victims can use the phone number and email you see on your screen there. They say their goal is to seek out resolution for survivors of older sexual assault cases, even if criminal prosecution is no longer available. A Tacoma business owner has paid the bail for 3 Tacoma officers charged in the death of Manuel Ellis. Josh Harris paid the $30,000 bond needed to release the officers while they await trial. Christopher Burbank and Matthew Collins are facing second-degree murder charges. Timothy Rankine is charged with first-degree manslaughter. Ellis died in police custody last year. All 3 officers have pleaded not guilty to their charges. And a staff member at the Spokane Veterans Home has tested positive for COVID-19. The Department of Veteran Affairs says that all the residents and staff who were in contact with the staff members have tested negative so far. They're working with the regional health district and will continue testing. The facility had multiple outbreaks since the beginning of the pandemic, and we do not know if the staff member who tested positive was vaccinated. And the Hilliard Food Truck Pavilion is having its grand opening this weekend. The new space is aimed to help local food truck and pop-up businesses have a consistent place to set up.
You're going to see a lot of food this weekend, a lot of local art, local musicians.
I own a truck. I want this to happen, so why not have everything all in one spot?
The grand opening event will also feature live music. You can check out the pavilion starting today through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's your Morning Rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media. Well, the best of the Inland Northwest Reader Poll is back. Coming up at 7:30, the Inlander joins us here on Up with KREM to tell us how you can nominate your favorite local business.
And as we transition from those hot days earlier this week to cool days ahead this weekend, we have elevated fire danger across central portions of the state. I'll let you know what that means for your weekend coming up.